everyone, and welcome to the Trending in My Life podcast, episode 109. This week, hopeless or hopeful? Now, you don't really have to be one or another. I think it's really the situation that happens. Now, I could say to you, tomorrow is Monday, and I'm hopeful I will get to the station on time. But it's Monday, and there's something about Monday mornings, even though the clock says the same as every other day of the week, but there's something about Monday mornings that means I am always late getting through the door and heading off to the station. I mean, it may only be 5 minutes, but 5 minutes won't mean that I'm walking to the station. It'll mean I'm speed walking to the station. I'm rushing up the steps and the train is already pulling in as I reach it. And I can't explain why. No matter how much planning I do, it just happens every single time. It's just hopeless. But every Monday, I'm thinking this Monday's going to be different. I'm going to get out the door on time. I'm hopeful about that. So I wonder what your Monday mornings are like. And once we get past the getting out the door bit, there's the thinking about the rest of the week bit. Because inevitably, when you're on your way to work, you start thinking about what kind of week ahead you've got. In fact, a lot of people, unfortunately, start thinking about that on Sunday night, which leads not to a restful night's sleep, more to worrying about how they're going to deal with things. So let's look at the optimism for the week ahead. Hopeless, impossible, how can I get all those tasks done? Or hopeful, it'll all work out somehow. Well, no matter which you are, when the actual days take place, they'll have a life of their own. There'll be days that are really easy. You might have a lot of people cancel appointments, and then you have spare time on your hands where you can catch up with work. Equally, you could have computers break down, copiers malfunction, and you're like, this is hopeless. How am I ever going to get this deadline met? But then hopefully the mechanic will arrive or the IT people and they'll fix things. And there's not a lot you can do about it. You get to a point where it's like, oh, well, it's going to get fixed when it gets fixed. And I'm going to get the work finished when I get it finished. And there's a kind of acceptance clicks in at some point. And you stop frantically stressing that everything is hopeless. And you start thinking, hopefully, it'll all work out in the end. Hopefully, things are going to get fixed and I can work my way through this and it's all going to be okay in the end. If you're a student at this time of year, you might be taking exams. You might be hopeful about the grades you'll get, but it's no point in worrying about it all summer. That's just hopeless. You just need to get on and have a great summer and deal with the results when they come out and keep staying hopeful about that. I think anyone who's ever started a diet has always been hopeful that this will be the one and this will be a new lifestyle that works and you lose the weight, and you always go into it very hopeful and hopefully it does work. But don't give in to the hopelessness if it doesn't, because let's face it, there's always another diet, there's always another lifestyle change that you can have a go at. And you might need to find a different way. And when that comes along, you'll be great and you can be hopeful again. Just on a side note, I don't often sit looking out at the back garden at this time of day. It's like heat of the day. And there's an incredible amount of bugs flying about in all different directions. And I'm like, God, I need a beekeeper type suit to go outside in the back garden. I do often look and think, oh, that needs reading, that needs doing, and then the weekend gets away from me. It's not so much a hopeless situation that there aren't enough hours. It's just that I prioritise different things. And knowing that this garden doesn't belong to me, that it's simply rented for a short period of time, I am taking care of it in a slightly less enthusiastic way. I do love gardening, but I was in a rented house for 3 years before this, and I absolutely changed the garden, completely overhauled it and made it look beautiful. And then we had to move. And there's a little bit of me that says, I'm not doing that again. And I'm sure I will when I'm more settled. But this is also the first time I've been in a house that I'm only in for a year to 18 months. So I know the end. Anyway, back to the whole point of the podcast. Hopeless and hopeful. I'm hopeful that I will have a garden in the future that I can actually spend time in and tend and buy new plants for and watch it grow over the years. And I don't think that's a hopeless goal to have, but I don't know how it will end up being fulfilled. I just don't know at this point in time. And I think that's the thing, when we are at different stages in our life, where we don't know the outcome of things, it's better not to slip into thinking it's all hopeless, it's all doom and gloom, but keep being hopeful, keep being positive, because at least in the day-to-day that you're living then, it's much more pleasant for you than being miserable and worried. So try and go with the hopeful rather than the hopeless. But I mean, there are certain things that we know we're not good at. I mean, you can't be talented at everything. It would be wrong to say I struggle at technology. It would be right to say my instinct when faced with a manual, a very long manual, trying to find the right page, especially because it's all digital now. So you're sort of scrolling through page after page, trying to find what you're looking for to try and fix something. I would say I'm like, oh, this is awful, this is hopeless. But I do hopefully frame the question correctly when I Google it, that somebody comes up with the answer really plain and clear that I can follow and it does work. So I'm sort of hopeless at that, but you know, I've got a workaround. I've got a way of being hopeful and fixing things. I also think there are certain things that we're hopeless at, or feel that we're hopeless at, that we become better at, just because we learn something and it makes it all clear to us. And I think these days plenty of people will watch a YouTube video to teach them how to do something, and then they'll go ahead and do it. Or quite often they'll sort of freeze frame it step at a time so they can go through and fix something. And it's an incredibly useful source of information in that respect. Having talked about the garden, I don't consider myself to be green-fingered. Everything I touch doesn't grow. It's a very hit and miss. We've got 2 sunflowers out the front at the moment, and I was very hopeful when they arrived. They were free because they were stood by someone's gate with a little sign saying, please take them if you want them. And I picked 2 sunflowers and I planted them under the window at the front of the house. And I was very positive about this and said, oh, you know, sunflowers, they grow huge, don't they? So they'll grow up to the window and then we'll be able to see their you know, cheerful yellow faces out of the window. Well, one of them was shorter than the other when they grew, and but went to a lovely flower, but then it's drooped sort of over, so it looks like it's hanging its head kind of thing. So, and it's clearly finished growing. It's not going to grow anymore, and the flower's finished flowering. I wonder how long I have to wait till they all turn to seeds and stuff, or whether I should stop watering it or something. I don't know. Anyway, the other one got a lot taller, got a lot taller, and it's come up to the windowsill, and then it started to go past the windowsill, and I'm like, well, I've not got any way of securing it so it doesn't fall over now. Just under the windowsill I fitted some gardening wire so I could hold the stem so that in a stiff breeze it wouldn't blow over, but there's just nowhere to hold it onto now, so I'm just relying on itself. But they don't have really thick stems. Well, thick as in compared to other plants, yes, but considering the size of the head of them, that's another thing. This big tall one hasn't got a head on it, and we can see into the centre of it because obviously it's up by the window now, and there's no sign of it growing a head in it, and I'm like, just how tall is this thing going to go? It's taller than me. I would say it's at least 6 foot already. So, yeah, I don't know. But I was very hopeful that they would both grow, and it didn't occur to me that they would grow at different rates because I planted them at the same time. It didn't occur to me they'd grow at different rates, but I mean, the smaller one, it's hopeless to think that will grow any taller. It won't now, it's finished, kind of thing. And the very tall one, I'm just hopeful it stops soon, because I can't sort of dangle a line down from the bedroom window upstairs to keep it sort of in place. And when it's windy at the front of the house, it can be really, really windy. So I'm now in the frame of mind that whatever happens to it, happens to it. And if it blows over, it blows over. If it continues to grow and is stable, then that's fine. I mean, I did put a sort of stick behind it when it first started getting tall, but it's gone way past that now. So there's people that are running marathons at this time of year, and I'm sure that some of them had to start from zero at some point. The first time they went out jogging, and the first time they ran a race, and that's something that shows that you can go from hopeless to hopeful. It's a journey, isn't it, when people do that they train and then they manage to do one of these marathons, which is incredible, and especially in the heat we've had at the moment. So that's inspiring to see. And I have to say, with the start of the week, the whole thing about going through a week, you can plan your week, and you can think, yeah, that's going to work or that's not going to work, depending on your frame of mind. But you really can't tell. Every day is different, and you don't know what element's going to come in that's going to change things. So the best thing is to stay hopeful and hope that you don't get into that state of it's just hopeless kind of thing. But if you do, hopefully somebody will come along and help you, and that hopelessness will improve, and they will help you to do something because you didn't have enough time, or they'll help you by teaching you how to do it quicker or better, or just if you're stuck, just how to work around something, and then your hopelessness will improve, and you'll be more hopeful the next time that it happens. When I was out filming my video yesterday, this is something that I don't do before I leave the house, and it wouldn't matter anyway because I'm going to a different location, so it would be different in each location I'm at. But I arrived and I started walking in the direction that I needed to go in, and it was dull and shady. It was overcast, and that's absolutely fine for filming. Then the sun came out and I was walking directly into the sun, trying to film directly into the sun, and suddenly things weren't so good. So I turned around and walked in the other direction after a bit, and what did I find? There was a really strong wind blowing, which affects the microphones. And I thought, give me a break here. One way is bright sunshine, and the other way is strong wind, both of which one affects the actual image and the other affects the audio. And I thought, sometimes you just have to go with it. You just have to record it anyway and try and figure it out when you get home. But that did feel, there were moments there when I thought, well, this is hopeless, but with time constricts of trying to fit filming in at weekends because I work full time, there's times when you just have to go with it. You just have to make the best of it. And that's perhaps a thing about being hopeless, or in a hopeless situation, that you just have to make the best of it for the time being. And then maybe hope is around the corner, just waiting to drop in your lap. And you'll be more hopeful before you know it. Well, if you enjoyed this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. And drop a line in the comments and tell me something you're feeling hopeless or hopeful about. Bye for now.